and welcome in. Today we are going to talk about 5 tips to have a successful interview. So let's go. Tip number 1, do your homework. Who are you getting ready to have an interview with? You want to make sure you do a little bit of research before your interview starts. You want to know about the company that you're working for. You want to know a little bit about the person doing the interview. And then lastly, what they are looking for in a candidate. Tip number 2, make sure that you bring your homework with you. So if that's making sure that you have 2 forms of ID in case you're getting ready to, in case there's a possibility that you'll start work right away, if that is having your notes on the company and the person doing the interview, if that's making sure that you have memorized the highlights of how the job that you're applying for or the qualifications for the position you're applying for match up with your current skill set, because they need to know that you are the right person for this job. So the best way to do that is to make sure that you know what they're looking for and that you know you're qualified to meet your potential employer's needs, and that you demonstrate that thoroughly during the interview. Tip number 3 is dress to impress. So even if you've taken a look at the company culture and it's a little bit more dress casual, you want to make sure that you step it up at least a little bit for the interview. You can have an idea of what's traditionally expected in a job interview, especially if you've not worked in the corporate world before and this is your first go around with that, to make sure that you don't embarrass yourself. A general rule of thumb is to make sure that you don't have any holey clothes, and you don't have your stomach showing or your underwear showing, such as a bra strap. And some places you're not allowed to wear shorts. I would recommend not wearing jeans to an interview, maybe slacks and then a dress blouse, but it does depend a little bit on the company culture. Even if that's shorts, you might still want to wear dress slacks and a dress shirt or blouse during your interview. Why is it important to dress well when you're having an interview? Why is your posture important, and your tone of voice, making sure that you speak loudly and clearly, that you have a firm handshake when you're meeting your potential employer? Because all of these things are indicators that you respect yourself and the position that you're applying for. They show the potential employer that you take this job seriously, that you take yourself seriously, that not only do you respect the time and the position of the person that's taken the time out to meet with you, but you respect yourself and you dress accordingly. So that was tip number 4. Make sure that you don't slouch. Your body language essentially is important. Your body language, your tone of voice, making sure that you smile, you maintain eye contact. Another part of portraying confidence when you have a job interview is that it lets the employer know that you are likely to know what you're doing, right? That everything that's on your resume that indicates that you might be a viable candidate for this position is not a lie. And it's backed up by the fact that that your body language is indicating you are who you say you are, right? That you have nothing to be ashamed of, that you know what you're doing, that the employer has a right and a reason to invest their time and trust in hiring you. Lastly, tip number 5. Tip number 5 is thank you and follow up. After you have your interview, you want to make sure to say thank you. You want to say thank you to the person who did the interview. If you have a receptionist out front, you want to make sure to speak. I always like to speak to them as well and keep a good rapport, so that as I'm leaving, everyone in that office that has spoken to me can imagine me being a part of their community, a part of their work family, so to speak. Because at the end of the day, we spend more time at work than we do anywhere else. Unless you're thinking about sleep. They want to make sure, most companies want to make sure that whoever they invite to their work family is a good fit. And you can do that by maintaining a good rapport and saying thank you after the interview, following up with a thank you email after the interview, and to make sure that you keep in touch so that the company knows you're interested in working with them. I hope these tips were helpful. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to DM me. And if you have any additional tips to share, please do that below. I always love to hear from you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.